Hey, friends, welcome to the Foolish Canuck podcast. I'm Chris Timms, and this is episode number 6. It's a in the news episode, so once again, I'm joined by my lady friend Katie. We go through a bunch of news stories, and I gotta admit, I think this is the best one yet. I know it's only the 6th episode, and we got a long way to go, and I still got to get used to speaking in a mic and all that kind of stuff. I mean, not speaking in a mic. I do comedy, so I'm used to speaking in a mic. But you know what I mean, like doing these podcasts and talking to another person and trying to keep the flow and say things in an articulate manner. But it's a work in progress, and it's only episode number 6. But that being said, I enjoyed this episode. I had a lot of fun. We had a great conversation about a whole bunch of different topics. If you're easily offended, this podcast may offend you. Warning right now, trigger warning or earmuffs or whatever the fuck you're supposed to say. We talk about a lot of things. So we go through our news stories and then we get off on some tangents about racism and gender, specifically gendering children. We talk about racism. I think I mentioned that. Veganism, gun control, and a little bit of environment talk. And I'm sure there's some other stuff in there, but it's like I said, it's a full episode. It was a lot of fun to record. We had a great time. There might be like a couple silent spots. I tried to fix things up a little bit. I don't like editing the podcast. What gets recorded is what gets released. Occasionally, I'll try to like cut out some of the silence if there's like a long pause or something. But I don't know. I think I got him. There's one moment in the podcast where Katie just kind of got up and went to the bathroom. I didn't really know what was going on. I was in the middle of reading something and she didn't get back in time. So there was like a moment. But I think, I don't think it's that big a deal. Yeah. So I hope things in your life are doing well. Things have been good for me. I've been having a good week. Did some shows, headlined a show on Monday, which was it was a weird show because they had like a comedy class graduation thing going on upstairs, and then we had our show going on downstairs at the same time. And so there's like like you can hear laughter like through the floor kind of thing. So that was a little weird. And then there was a guy that showed up wearing a cowboy hat, a leather vest, no undershirt, light blue jeans, cowboy boots, and fucking spurs. I don't know if you know anything about Ottawa, but you generally you're not riding your horse around town, and there is no need to be wearing spurs. So that was an interesting development into the evening. But other than that, I saw some new comics that I've never seen before. They were really great, and had a lot of fun. If you guys like stand-up comedy or in the Ottawa area, I recommend checking out Absolute Comedy on Preston Street. They also have a club in Kingston, Ontario, and one in Toronto. So if you visit absolutecomedy.ca, there you get show times and ticket information. You see lineups that are coming up. And I highly recommend going to check out a show because it's an amazing club. Other than that, I don't have too much going on right now. If you want to visit foolishcanuck.com, you can figure out, all the stuff that I have going on gets listed up there. Or if you want to stay really up to date, you follow us on Twitter at Foolish Canuck or on Facebook, Foolish Canuck. It's on Facebook. You can find it. I was supposed to release some videos this week. They have not happened yet. So here's what I'm learning. Is that I can go on stage. Okay, so I'm having this weird moment with like trying to do this kind of stuff. So I can go on stage and I can tell horrible jokes. And not I don't mean like horrible, but I can talk about like, my mom eating pussy or abortions or anything. I can say just about anything on stage and live in front of a large group of people. Doesn't matter how many, and it's fine. I have no problem with it. I'm cool. The moment I try filming something, I get weird about it. Like I don't know. I can't explain it. It's something I got to work on because then I start to edit. Maybe that's the thing is I got to get someone else to edit my stuff because the moment I start editing, I'm like, oh fuck, I look like an idiot. Oh, I didn't say that right. Oh, I meant to say this. And then rather than just shoot a new scene, I shoot the whole fucking thing again. And so I end up with like 5 copies of the same thing. So now I'm trying to edit them together to make like a cohesive video thing. And anyway, it's it's for a guy who went to film school. It's a lot more difficult. Like not so much the technical side of it, but the being comfortable or being releasing something that I'm I guess, quasi proud of, or I don't know. It's a work in progress. It's going to happen when it happens, but it is in the works. So, stay tuned for that. So if you want to subscribe to the YouTube channel, you can do that. And then when they start coming out, boom, there you go. Also, one last little thing of housekeeping. I don't know where you listen to this podcast, but this podcast is now available pretty much anywhere podcasts are. You can get them. So iTunes, TuneIn Radio, the works. Go there and you can get it and listen to this podcast. However you listen to your podcast, you don't no longer have to go just to our website or to SoundCloud. So that's a bonus. Also, I put the podcasts up on YouTube. They are audio only. But some people, they do that. They listen to things on YouTube, so it's on there as well. And I think that's it. That's it for the little housekeeping. I hope you guys and gals and whoever enjoy this episode. As I said, I had fun. We talked a lot about, all kinds of stuff. Probably offended some people. Maybe I've said some things that I shouldn't have said. Just know this. We don't mean any ill will. You need to be able to talk about things, and you need to have the freedom to talk about things, even if you don't say the things the way maybe you meant to say them, or people evolve, and so will this podcast, and so will our conversations. But like I said, I was really happy with this one. I hope you folks enjoy it. Thanks again for listening. Much love, and here it is, episode number 6. Hello, Katie. Welcome. Episode number 6, the third in the news installment.
Yep.
How have you been?
I've been good.
Went
and did some apple picking.
Apple picking?
I did.
Feel like we've had this conversation.
We probably have.
What goes into apple picking nowadays, Katie?
Not very much.
No?
No. You basically get this stick.
Okay.
With like a net on the bottom. You put it under an apple, you shake it, the apple comes off, you take the apple out of the bag and put it in your bag. I thought it'd be like climbing ladders, getting muddy, it was dainty apple picking.
It was anticlimactic then for you.
Yes.
So what you're saying is you dressed expecting to be down in the dirt, and then you got there and there was like people in sundresses, like
something like that, yeah.
That's lovely.
Yeah.
Well, anything else exciting happen?
No, not really. I mean, that was the highlight for the week, I guess.
How many apples did you pick? Here's an important question.
No, I don't know. I didn't count them. Maybe like 25.
So do you like to just keep these apples, or do you like pay for the privilege?
No, we could pay for the apples.
Okay, so then how do they go? Oh, okay, there's about 25. So
it's by weight.
Oh, by weight. Okay.
Yeah. So
how many pounds of apples did you get?
It was $8 and it was like $2 a pound, so 4.
Cool.
4 pounds of apples.
Excellent.
I do math.
What's the plans with these apples? It's just eating apples or making pies, maybe some crumbles that you brought me. Is that from those apples?
Apple crumble, yes.
All right.
Maybe some slow cooker apple oatmeal.
Okay.
And just eating the apples.
Slow cooker apple oatmeal, eh?
Yeah. Overnight oats.
Is that not just kind of like apple crumble kind of?
I'll find out. I haven't made it before.
Okay. That's
I'll let
exciting.
You know. I don't think you put brown sugar. I think there's maple syrup involved. Canadian maple syrup.
I put a little bit of maple syrup in this batch of apple pies.
Nice.
It's something I haven't done before. I was like, today, you know what? I'm gonna make some apple pies at work, and I'm gonna do a little different. And so I did a little different. I cut some maple leaves in the fucking dough.
Yes, I saw that.
That's my new thing, apparently. I got to go get more fucking cookie cutters at work because I have
dinosaur ones at home.
That'd be fun. I have maple leaves and Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I have.
No, dinosaurs.
Yeah.
There's no season for dinosaurs.
No, but October's coming. I got to get like a pumpkin or something.
Yeah.
Anyway, pumpkin pies. You put some pumpkin shit on it.
Yes. Yep.
If pumpkin's shat, then
why don't you just make the whole pie into a jack-o'-lantern?
Because I'm not that skilled. I also don't think they make those kind of pie crust shell things like the pie pans. You would.
Yeah, but you just cut the two eyes out and then cut a mouth
Oh,
out, and then when it bakes, it'll look
holy
like
shit!
the stuff's coming through.
That's a fucking great idea.
It'll be a jack-o'-lantern.
All right, guys, check out the Twitter or the Facebook. These jack-o'-lantern pies are going to come at some point in October.
Nice.
That's exciting.
Nice.
Cool. We're making progress. All right. I guess we get into some articles because that's the whole point of these episodes.
Yes, and I'll make sure. So I listened to our other two podcasts.
Okay.
And I just to see like what I need to improve on. So I'm admitting this. I need to talk into the mic.
Okay.
So hopefully I'm doing that because I sound sometimes like I'm yelling at you from the bathroom.
Excellent.
And I need to stop saying right. And you have a thing where you're not going to try saying So
I don't do the so much when it's just you and I. It's when I'm alone.
Okay. I do the right a lot.
When it's you and I, like, because we're doing these articles and like there's not as much thinking necessarily that has to go on. When I'm by myself and I don't have it scripted, and or I'm not doing like a riffing off of an essay or something I've written, like some ideas, then there's a lot of because I'm searching for, okay, what's the next fucking thing I need to talk about? I'll have like some topics that I want to touch on, but I don't have anything written out. Yeah. So then I'm just searching for the words. When I'm talking with you, there's a back and forth. So if I don't have it in the moment, maybe you'll have something to say. Yeah. And it saves me from having to do the
Well, and so for me, the right is like you're talking or reading the article and I'm shaking my head. And obviously they can't see, like the listeners can't see me shaking my head. So I'm like, I should probably say something so they know I'm listening.
Yeah,
so
I think right's okay. But maybe what you should just do then is like you create an arsenal of 5 or 6. Right? Rights, okays, yeps.
Yeah.
And that you just, see, there you go. Yeah. But then just don't, but you know what? I think would be better than right. Even if you did too much. Because it's less intrusive. It's right. Oh, right. You know? It's like you're an eager beaver. Like, okay, calm
Correct.
down. Yeah, you don't have to agree with everything here. No, not always, right? So, okay. Well, so in fairness, in full disclosure, I don't know if you want any of this. We're smoking a doobie. Some of these articles are a little dated. So one, we took a week off last week. If you listened to my last podcast, the Fool and the Mic one, I was explaining how I just needed some time to rest my brain because I had too much stuff going on all at once. So we just took the week off. We're back. So some of these articles are a little dated, as well as then I'm looking at one now that is from like earlier in the summertime that was going to make it on the first podcast, but then didn't make it. And then it's going to make it on the next podcast, but didn't make it. So then I pushed it to this one. In reality, at this point, we could probably just drop this fucking story. But I thought I liked it. There was a piece of poetic justice to it. So even if you didn't hear the story in the summertime, it wasn't like a main news thing. You get it. You'll get the fucking story now. It's still a great story. Doesn't matter that it's a little late, right?
Perfect.
All right. So this first one here, it's about a guy who I think it was in Italy. We're going to find out as the thing. I should just load these before we do this. Anyway.
Oh, I just assumed that was the process.
No, well, I have the page where the links are.
Yep.
And then I'm just clicking on the links as we go through because then I might not do them in the order depending on where our conversation goes. So rather than like clicking through pages to find which one it is. Anyway, these people don't need to know these details. So it happened in Spain, not Italy. The headline was, so there was an earlier story. There was about a man who put a video on YouTube of him throwing a fridge off a bridge in Spain. So like generally, you don't do that.
No. It seems like a lot of effort.
Yeah. I understand why you would. I would love to throw a fucking fridge off a bridge and he throws it into a ravine. So it wasn't like there was oncoming traffic or whatever. It was a ravine. Still, fucked up thing to do. Don't throw garbage into ravines. However, as a man, as a human, as someone who, occasionally appreciates a little bit of destruction and has done fucked up things in my life, not to that scale, but close, I appreciated what he did. But in the same part of me, I'm not an environmentalist per se, but I love the environment. That's fucked up. You should fucking just throw a fridge. Like, I know he wasn't going to be picking it up. If you were doing this, like if you were like the How Ridiculous guys on YouTube, and you threw a fridge off a bridge, you knew they would be cleaning it all up and picking up all the pieces.
Yeah.
This is how he was getting rid of the fucking fridge.
Okay.
So that was the first article. And then I came across it. what happened to the guy because they caught him.
Oh, okay.
And
Okay.
I was like, this is why I wanted to share it because I thought it was a great little piece of justice. Anyway, so this man who jumped this fridge, he was slapped with a $67,000 fine, which, holy shit, that's a lot of money for throwing a fucking fridge off a bridge.
That's a lot of new fridges.
But here was the best part. He himself had to haul the fucking appliance back up the fucking, up to the
Nice.
bridge. Yeah. And they filmed it. So it's fucking, how great is that? It's the best. I know I didn't read the article. I might not read all these articles.
No.
But that's exactly, like, I think that was the most, I like hearing things like that.
Yeah, and it's almost like was he being sneaky, I guess? Well, he was trying to throw away this fridge without anyone finding out that he did it.
No, he filmed it and put it on YouTube.
Oh, him throwing out the fridge.
Yeah. Like there's a video of him on YouTube.
Oh, okay. I thought there was just a video of him like dishing it out.
No, of him throwing the fridge. And there's this whole thing. And that's how people found out. Like, 'cause at the end of the day, if you're just trying to get rid of the fridge, you just drive there at the late at night and you throw the fridge off the bridge and you're good to go, right?
Yeah.
This was like, it was similar to like, I'm sure they probably watched like a How Ridiculous video or something. I don't want to blame the How Ridiculous guys, but they probably watched something or he had this idea, make a great YouTube video. You ever see a fridge fall off a bridge?
Okay.
It's very literal.
I just thought this guy was like, oh, my fridge doesn't work anymore. I need to get rid of it. And I totally, maybe you need to read the articles. I don't know, but and I was like, oh, why would he film himself throwing out his fridge? Just anyway. I got it now.
Well, I believe I said off the top that it was for YouTube, but
anyway.
So anyway, I like that. I appreciated that he had to haul I think the fine is a little steep. I guess you want to really deter people from throwing shit off the bridge. But I also think just making him haul it up, filming him haul it up and posting it online.
Little good old public shaming.
Oh my God. But that's good public shaming. Like there's bad public shaming, but that's a good public shaming. Sorry, my one of my cats was just saying hello there. I don't know if my cat's meow in the background, if you folks can hear it on the podcast. You've listened to some of them. The one where Wolverine was like going off in the background. Could you hear him?
No, I don't think so. No.
Oh. So sometimes I might just yell at cats that you don't hear. So I apologize for that. Okay, the next story. Oh, hey, actually, we'll do this one first. So we did that story about the kid. Oh, is it not coming up? There it is. The kid who fell. See, I got to do it on the screen. The kid who fell from the building.
Yeah,
and they caught him with a blanket. Yeah. So then I came across this one. A French bulldog survived a 6-story plunge from a New York building by landing in the luckiest spot. Now, okay. So Winston is one lucky pooch. That's what they say here.
Oh, I bet you. I think I know what he landed on.
What do you think he landed on?
Like an awning.
An awning?
Or something like that.
That would be the luckiest spot.
Yeah.
In my opinion. If I was writing this article and the dog landed on an awning, I'd be like, yeah, he landed on the luckiest spot. No, well, actually, if he landed on like a pillow display that was outside of a store on the street would be really the luckiest spot. But yes, next to that, a fucking awning. The French bulldog beat the odds Friday night when he plummeted from a 6-story building in Manhattan's Lower East Side, only to crash through the sunroof of a parked car below.
Why
the
is that?
luckiest spot.
What?
The luckiest spot, Katie.
Why?
I don't know.
That's like the worst.
Because the last thing I want to do is fall off a fucking balcony and then smash through a window.
Why is okay?
All right, so Winston was great name for a dog, by the way. Was taken to emergency vet hospital with minimal injuries, miraculously enough. I think that's more miraculous. It's like it's not lucky that he hit the window. It's just miraculous that he had minimal injuries, right?
Right.
Emma, the dog's owner, was shocked that he survived. She pushed him off. She's like, what? Really? He made it? He fucking made it?
And
Damn
now I
it.
have all these vet bills.
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck.
Oh, no.
It's her hauling the fridge out. She's
Quote.
Yeah.
Here's her quote. I'm still trying to wrap my head around the whole astronomical odds of him walking away from this fall with nothing more than a few cuts and scratches.
I've been planning this for weeks.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
That's my car down there. I parked it there on purpose.
She had just finished walking Winston when he escaped her grasp and ran away. She said the dog bolted up the set of stairs, out onto the roof through the door that was left open. Then he jumped.
Sounds like Winston wanted to get away from his owner.
Yeah, Winston was like, "I believe I can fly," and is gone. Anyway.
No, suicide mission.
Is that what that was?
Unsuccessful.
Well, yeah, clear. So it wasn't the luckiest spot then for Winston at all.
Not in any way.
Before he could slow himself down.
What?
It was okay. While he was running.
Oh,
while he was running. Before he
midair, like he just puts out his little scroll wings. Like,
before he could slow himself down, it was too late, and I watched him disappear over the edge, falling 6 stories, landing with a terrifying crash. Emma wrote in an Instagram post. In a panic, I rushed downstairs, trying to prepare myself to pick up my lifeless dog. Yeah, that's what I would be preparing myself for too. When she reached Winston, he had a couple cuts and was hyperventilating. She immediately took him to Blue Pearl, I guess the pet hospital. While she was waiting for test results, she kept playing the traumatic scene of him falling over the edge. She's like, I told the vet initially, despite not having broken any bones, X-rays showed significant bruising to his lungs. So,
okay. But
still, that's fucking, that's crazy, man.
That's the worst title for that story ever.
Well,
the luckiest.
Yeah. So Winston had to stay in an oxygen chamber for 36 hours to make sure he could breathe. So,
not the luckiest.
And they say minimal injuries. That doesn't sound minimal. I know you don't want to like. That's fucking amazing. This dog survived. Like this story can be written in such a better fucking light. Like he couldn't breathe for 36 hours. He had to be put in this fucking thing. Maybe you don't write fuck at CNN, but you know, I do that anyway. Now Winston is home. He's doing absolutely fine. He's still a little bit stiff, as to be expected, they say. But that's quickly fading, and we're seeing him to start return to his regular self. And as for Emma, she's okay, but only because he is. If the outcome was different, I don't even know what kind of state of mind I would be in. So maybe she didn't throw him off the cliff or the balcony. But
cliff, Jesus.
She added that she feels so incredibly lucky and grateful for each little coincidence aligned the way that. Oh, she's like a Celestine secret person. She's like, all these coincidences aligned, and so my dog landed in this sunroof. I would, you know what? Maybe he wouldn't have broken. I would hazard the guess the dog would have survived hitting the ground. I mean, if he survived the window, do you think the window broke that much of a fall?
Yeah, because it's.
And then I guess then he lands on cushions.
Yeah, but it would have more give to it. The ground has no give, so the impact wouldn't be like.
Yeah, fair enough.
At least the window.
There could have been other people with a blanket kicking around or something. Anyway, so that was a feel-good story. The dog survived. What's with people falling off balconies lately? Like, there's just a lot of it.
Well,
it's like Are
you saying the dog identifies as a people, or the people identifies as a dog?
You can't be careful anymore, or too careful anymore. It actually, I don't know why it made me think of this, and it's a sad story, but not really sad because I don't know the person. Last Christmas, when Jamie was coming to the Christmas party, the guy who committed suicide, so he was leaving like his building, and some guy jumped off his balcony.
Oh.
But the thing that was interesting about it is, so like it was been chalked up to it being a suicide. He was wearing his winter toque and his winter jacket.
Oh.
Because he didn't want to catch a cold before going to, the afterlife, apparently.
Right.
Anyway, that's jumping from something is always like a weird way to go for me. Okay, so the next story is a weird transition, but whatever. So the headline was, why is everyone on Twitter talking about 30 to 50 feral hogs? And I was like, yeah, why? So I clicked on it. And now it's an article we're going to talk about.
Okay.
I don't entirely remember the article, to be honest. This is one of these little older ones. As unlikely as it sounds, feral hogs have become a trending topic online in relation to a debate about gun control in the United States, following 2 mass shootings in Texas and Ohio that left 31 people dead. So this is, you can tell when this was. This is a little while back. That's right, feral hogs, and more specifically, 30 to 50 of them. It all started on Sunday when an Arkansas father chimed in on the conversation of assault weapons on Twitter. William McNabb, a self-described libertarian from El Dorado Arc, whatever that is, responded to American musician Jason Isbell's declaration that no one needs an assault rifle. Then he goes, legit question for rural Americans. How do I kill the 30 to 50 feral hogs that run in my yard within 3 to 5 minutes while my small kids play? So, like, while my kids are playing in the yard, and I understand you don't want your kids around hogs. Hogs are very dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, are you shooting them while the kids are in the yard?
Right. Oh, I used it right.
Like, or are you waiting?
Yeah.
Like, it's very specific. Like, I need to kill 30 to 50 hogs in 3 to 5 minutes. It's my family's life depends on it. But then, like, but you just shooting an assault rifle.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess there may be good marksmen. Perhaps it was a large-sized group of invading hogs, or the precise number of minutes it takes for them to run in the yard, or the suggestion that rural Americans need assault rifles to protect themselves from this problem. But regardless of the reason, McNabb's tweet quickly went viral with 1,000 Twitter users obviously mocking his concerns.
Uh-huh.
This being said, though, so I've been giving this some thought about, like, gun control and weapons. I think this is why I picked this. Not to have, like, a fucking, I'm going to take a stance on gun control moment, but I don't think people need guns, but I do think some people need guns. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I don't know how you would do it. Like, 'cause you can't restrict people. But I agree with this man, like, that people who live in rural communities need guns.
Yes. Maybe not assault rifles.
Maybe not assault rifles, but
a gun.
Then again, now I don't know how often 30 to 50 feral hogs are invading people's territories. Like, I don't know if it's that extreme.
Yeah.
Where, like, that. But let's say this is, like, a common issue where a lot of people are dealing with this.
Yes.
Well, then maybe we have some sort of licensing to get these people the guns they need, but you ban them for everyone else.
Yeah.
It's just like the military should be able to have guns that the people don't.
Yeah.
Though then I guess that's why they have it in the United States, the Second Amendment. The whole purpose is so that if the government gets too powerful, the people have the means to rise up. Like, it can't be suppressed by the military, It's a very complex issue down there. Here in Canada, I think it's pretty simple. We have, like, a lot of vast area. If you live in the city, you don't need a fucking gun.
No.
If you live in the country, you probably need a gun. There's bears and mountain lions and fucking shit that's going to kill you.
Yes.
And you got to protect your own. I get that. But I don't think assault rifles are necessary.
No.
Though, and you know what? There's going to be a lot of hate for me to say this. And, you know what? Fuck it. I think it would be extremely entertaining to kill 30 to 50 hogs with an assault rifle. Feral hogs that are, like, damaging property, that are evil devils, that, carrying AIDS and leprosy and want to murder humans. I would love to kill those 30 to 50 hogs with an assault rifle. I think it would be an experience. I don't think, I think I would be, somewhat fucked up by it afterwards. But saying it beforehand, before actually having done the deed, I think that'd be the most efficient way. Like, do you know how they deal with this problem now in, like, places like New Zealand and Australia? And I think they do it in the United States as well. I know they do it in Alaska. I think in Alaska they do it with wolves as well. They fly around in a helicopter. So what they do is they'll get, like, they call them, fucking Joe Rogan was talking about this with, like, goats. I think it was goats in New Zealand. They'll capture, like, a goat or, like, a wolf or, like, a hog, and they'll collar it or tag it or whatever with the GPS tracker, and they'll set it back out. So then it goes back to its peoples, right? And it gets back to its crew, and then they follow it by the tracker in a fucking helicopter, and they just fly over and just fucking pick these motherfuckers off.
Geez.
Yeah. So is that more humane? But then what about the guy's kids? I don't know. I don't know what to do in this situation.
Remove the kids from the backyard first.
But, like, 3 to 5 minutes. So what's faster, the hogs invading or the kids moving? Like, how fat I know it's Americans, right? So, like, how fat are your kids? Like, maybe your kids just need to run around the block a couple more times, and then they can get away in the 3 to 5 minutes from the hogs, Like, I don't know.
And is this, like, an average? Like, how did the guy get this number?
Well, I'm assuming he deals with hogs on a quasi-regular basis.
It just, yeah.
I think somewhere in, like, right now in, like, Manitoba or Saskatchewan, there's a bit of an issue at the border because apparently there's, like, a large group of feral hogs that are, like, evading into, like, Minnesota or whatever from Canada.
Jeez.
Yeah. Like, it's an issue. Like, they're invasive. They fuck up the landscape. They kill things like it. They're not good.
Right.
But there's got to be a way that you don't put your children in danger.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Or need automatic rifle.
Yeah.
Like you figure, like even okay, if these hogs come in and you're shooting, and the sound of the gun like should scare some of them off. Like you think like that would.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I don't know hog behavior, so you would hope.
Mm-hmm.
But like, and I'm just thinking in my head, like if you had a shotgun, like even if it had like a few rounds in it, you get like a few of them, but then you got to reload that, and the hogs are fucking already on you. Your kids are dead. Your shins are getting eaten. So a shotgun wouldn't be good. You have like a handgun that maybe has like 9 to 15 shots. So you get like maybe 15 if you're a really good shot. But then what about the rest of them? Okay, I get that. But then if you're a fucking gun-toting loving motherfucker, right? Maybe you have fucking clips on your belt. So maybe you can have like 3 or 4 clips,
Rambo
and you're quick loading it, right? You want to protect your children, right? So you need to always be prepared. So fuck, if it's in the name of mass shootings, let's just make sure this guy has more clips on his belt and not an assault rifle, and then maybe we just get him to fucking quick load really fast.
Yeah, or we just build this guy a fence.
You know what? That's it.
Right?
A fence, maybe a moat as well. Fuck it, build him a moat, a fence and a moat.
I'm just saying. Okay, so here's a good example, and not to get down.
You proved the point. Like, yes, just build a fucking fence.
Yeah, to not go down the gun hole or whatever, but. Yes, people want their rights to rifles or whatever, but there's always another way to solve the problem. And they're just not willing to do that because it's either more work or money or time. It's easy to go down the righteous path, right?
But what if the government comes and takes my land?
Yeah, well.
Well, then, you know what? Your fucking rifles work. You don't need an automatic assault rifle.
Yeah.
Shotguns. I'm okay with handguns. Like, I know we don't allow handguns really in Canada, but they still get out there.
Yeah.
But like, I know personally, if I were to go, I'm sure they have exemptions for hunters. I don't know. It's something I would like to look into. But when I've been hiking in BC, I don't have a gun.
Mm-hmm.
I actually, this is going to sound ridiculous that I admit this, but I carry a fucking Spartan sword because at least I have some sort of confidence. Yeah. Like, it's just a giant machete, but it's a fucking Spartan sword. So at least I have something where I'm like, okay, well, you know what? It's going to kill me, but I'm going to leave it a mark. Yeah. Yeah. But if I could carry I wouldn't carry a rifle. I'd find a handgun to be more useful in that situation because I don't know if you know anything about mountain lions, but you're not going to see them until it's too fucking late.
Yeah.
Right. So I would need something like I don't need to take off my rifle. I need quick action. So I can understand handguns. I don't understand handguns in the city. I don't understand, free carry. Like, I think there needs to be a wilderness rule.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway. But and then you have what about protecting my home? What if there's an intruder in my home? Then you need a fucking gun in your home. All right. I can get that. Like, I don't know. I guess I'm like swampy on the gun issue.
Yeah. It seems, yeah. You seem to be a little all over the place.
Yeah. Because, like, I don't want people to die. But in the same regards, is like I can appreciate firearms.
Yeah, I don't see one for protecting your home. Like, I mean,
again, you don't need an assault rifle.
Yeah.
It's like that Bill Burr joke about going to get a shotgun or a handgun. He's like, I just want to shoot the guy. I don't have to do fucking drywall afterwards.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't think you need a gun to protect your home, not unless you're in a. Like, our homes are protected. There are devices out there to already protect them. I mean, unless you're living in a mud hut or something, you don't really need.
Well, it is on a rare occasion that you have those mass murderers and serial killers and the creepy rapist, pedophile weirdos that break into your home. It gets sensationalized on the news, so you think it's happening more often than it does, so that's why everyone thinks, I need a gun to protect my own.
Yeah.
Right? And you're more likely to get shot yourself when you have a gun in your home than shooting an intruder. So there's a lot of like either ways to this. But it's it's a conversation that should be had and it shouldn't be demonized on either side. That's one of the problems with the gun debate. We've gone on a little bit of a tangent here, but that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Is that you can't talk about either. Like you either have to be for no guns or you're for guns. Like you can't like you can't go. Yeah, it's a difficult situation. You know, like there's multiple layers. It's wishy washy. It's like the whole gender debate. Actually, I think that there's more of a line in the sand in the gender debate, but that's for another fucking podcast. Or maybe later. There's an article that's coming up. But like there's a lot of nuance. You know, there's a lot of shit there that we don't. You know, not everyone understands, right? Like people in British Columbia, right? They banned certain bear hunting or most bear hunting or whatever it was. People in the rural areas were like, no, we need to like kill certain bears. But it was all the people in the city where all the population were like, oh no, we love bears. So let's not kill them. Yet then there's more bear attacks this year. There's more fucking wolf attacks this year because they're like, oh no, don't kill these things. Like we talked about 2 of them on the last podcast. Because, you know, you need, anyway. But again, that's a rural, right? That's I have not yet, besides possibly home invasions, I haven't been able to think of a reason why you need a gun in the city or why you need to be able to. And I know, thankfully, here in Canada, you can't just carry a gun around all willy nilly. But in the United States, they have the open carry laws, and you can walk around with a fucking gun on your hip or a rifle strapped to your back. And I'm like, I don't understand the practicality of that.
It'd be very uncomfortable after a while.
I'm sure they get a hard on putting on those fucking holsters. They're like, oh yeah, I got my gun. They walk around, always got that side pipe. Just, you know, my thought anyway.
If I owned a gun, I don't think I'd want to wear it around. It feels a little showy. Like I don't know.
Yeah,
I'd want it secretive, or maybe I do like that thing with like a garter belt with a gun in it.
See, that would be hot. That'd be all right. It'd be good. It'd be like weird to like.
But I'd shoot my own foot off. We know this, so I'm not gonna.
You fell through a deck. Also, not your fault. Not your fault. Not your fault.
The deck was falling apart. I saved the bananas though.
If anyone was going to fall through the deck, though. All right, so we're talking about shooting hogs and shooting animals, and I'm sure right now you got a lot of vegetarians and vegans that might be listening to this. They're like, "You guys are monsters," and they're turning it off right now. We're Canadians. We live in the north. Sometimes you got to hunt fucking animals. But that being said, I'm not anti-vegan. I hope you make it. And I understand, you know, some people have to do it for health reasons, and there's, you know, I don't demonize them. I demonize the vigilant ones, you know, like the ones that are like, don't eat meat, you're a murderer. Like those fucking people, fuck you, fuck those people, right? But like the vegetarians.
Like aggressive ones, you mean?
Yeah.
You said diligent.
I meant to say militant.
Militant. Oh, maybe you said militant. I heard diligent. I was like, are there taxes in order? Like,
well, you know,
those are the ones.
They really want to get their point across. They cross their T's, they dot their I's. They really say what they want to say. But so like, I'm all for it. I'm like, do what you're going to do if you're not hurting me. And I'm kind of like this across the board on everything, right? As long as you're not infecting, if you're not causing me any kind of bodily harm, really, I don't fucking care.
Yeah, like
right. You can yell at me, call me a motherfucker, cocksucker. Whatever you want. You can say I blow goats and cuddle old men and then fucking whatever. You can say whatever you want that might not be true about me or might be true. I don't know. Maybe I like to cuddle old men. My point is, I can turn it off. I can say whatever and I can walk away. I can, you know, unless you're physically hurting me or doing something that's like harmful to someone I care about, I'm generally not going to care.
Yeah,
right?
Well, and I think you have the situation of choice. Like you said, you can turn it off. If someone's like shoving it down your throat, then it becomes uninvitable, you know? So
here comes to this article, right? And it was a story that I came across that put a big smile on my face. And it's been updated a couple times. I know the whole story, and if it's not all here, we can fill it all in.
Okay.
So basically, a vegan woman sued her neighbors for barbecuing in their backyard. Do you hear about this?
I saw the article, but then I didn't read it because I thought you might have picked it.
Yeah. So this is like, about a month or so ago. Oh, no, beginning of September, early September.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think I saw it recently.
All right. So, and this is in Australia, and I love Australians so much. Their capital today just legalized weed.
Yes, you were telling me.
So, well, actually, it would be yesterday because this is coming out on Thursday. So on Wednesday, they legalized weed, which is fucking good day, mate. That might have been racist. I don't know. I'm white, though. Can you be racist? Can a white person be racist to another white person? That was a good moment. That was a good little moment of silence. Okay. So anyway, a woman sued her neighbors for barbecuing in their backyard. Fucking hilarious, right? So, I love Australians and I love her neighbors. So I'll read the article and we'll see if it gets into all the details here. A vegan woman filed a lawsuit against her meat cooking neighbors, and now a cookout has been planned in her honor right outside her home. That's right. All her neighbors are planning a giant barbecue in her honor outside of her home. So, according to Australia's 9 News, Celia Carden took the case against her next door neighbors to the Supreme Court of Western Australia in 2018. She took people barbecuing in her backyard to the Supreme fucking Court. The Australian woman, who works as a massage therapist, said they were deliberately interrupting her garden time by barbecuing meat, smoking outdoors, and letting their kids play basketball.
Oh my goodness. This woman sounds like a treat to have as a friend.
Basketball. Oh my word.
But interrupting her gardening time.
Oh, hang on though. Quote, "It's been devastating. It's been turmoil. It's been unrest," she continued. "I haven't been able to sleep."
Okay.
People cooking dinner,
Yes.
having a good
Yeah,
time, being a family, you know? She can't sleep. Now, because, you gotta love Australians. Thousands of people have marked themselves as attending a community cookout outside this woman's home called, the event's called Community Barbecue for Celia Carden on October 19th. Nearly 9,000 people have said they're interested in attending the event, which clearly intends to mock her, they're trying to mock her case. If Cecilia has a problem with her neighbors cooking meat on their barbecue because she's a vegan, recently taking them to Supreme Court. We already just said that. You could have just said you had to go to the bathroom rather than have me how long is it going to be? I'm stalling. Katie just ran away from the mic, guys.
Well, I just figured
how
you were reading the
how
article.
unprofessional is that? Well, you could have mimed it out. You could have been like.
I just figured you knew that I was going to go to the bathroom.
Anyway,
9,000 people.
9,000 people.
That's awesome.
It's happening on October 19th. So
I want to go. Where is this? I want to go.
It's in Australia.
Okay. That's not in the budget.
How many times did I say,
Like if it was in Montreal. No, I know.
Folks, this is what I'm dealing with here. How many times did I say,
I know.
I love Australians? Where is this happening? In Carlton Place.
And then you did your impression of an Australian,
Yeah, it was probably racist.
saying that they were happy weed was being legalized.
Yeah.
Or is.
So anyway, the Supreme Court threw down her case.
I would hope so.
Yeah, in January, saying she didn't have enough evidence. And then she was convinced this was a violation of her rights as a homeowner. What about the other people's rights as a homeowner? Just out of curiosity. Anyway, so she proceeded to file a 600-page document detailing her appeal. This is not a woman I'd want to date.
This woman has a lot of time on her hands.
Yeah, imagine trying to have sex with this woman for the first time.
This woman,
the paperwork that would be involved.
Yeah,
Jesus.
Yeah, but you know what? This woman gives amazing massages because all that pent up would come out in her hands. She'd knead your back really well.
I don't think she would. I think she would give massages like Howie Mandel would give massages. The way that this woman is offended by people barbecuing and smoking. You know what I mean? She'd be she'd have 3 fucking layers of rubber dish gloves on and she'd be in a hazmat suit. And that's how she would give her fucking thing. Because God forbid they had a ham sandwich for lunch. She can smell it on their fucking breath,
Okay.
Sorry. I get a little worked up sometimes. So here's the other fucked up part about this whole thing. So she's appealing this whole thing with the 600 fucking page document, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but then the tribunal and the people the courts they stated that the people that were getting charged, or
barbecuers,
they made an effort to appease this fucking lady. They moved their barbecue, I guess, to the other side of the house.
Mm-hmm.
They reduced their patio lighting. They silenced their pets. They replaced plants in the common garden for whatever reason.
They poked a hole in their kids' basketball.
Yeah. It's just like this woman just had lofty requests. It was like completely unnecessary, right?
They silenced their pets?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah. So like, what's really great is so the woman who's suing them, like her name's all over this place, Cecilia Cardin. I hope she gets like. Here's the other thing, folks. I don't necessarily want you guys to like ruin. Like I don't want to see her business ruined necessarily. You know what I mean? Like I don't want. She's a shitty fucking neighbor. I hope maybe she moves and then this family gets some respite, or maybe someone comes around and buys these people home and just builds a meat packing plant next to Celia's house or something. Like that'd be great. But like she's a right to her shit, but there's got to be limits, right? Like, and so people are allowed to well, fuck this. So these people, these neighbors that are barbecuing, they want to be anonymous. They're like they don't want to be known who we are. But they invited, I guess, news people to their backyard and showing that they removed the barbecue and asked their kids to stop playing basketball. Like, hey, kids, don't play out. Like, that's what we want children to play outside anymore. Especially like a lot of these vegan people and like these hipsters nowadays. Like, oh, man, you just got to go outside. You got to, be. And that's what we want. We like in older generations, like, yeah, you got to get outside. You got to get the kids playing. But all the kids, they're on the fucking things. And this woman's like, no, don't be outside playing basketball. Get in your fucking house. Go do your thing. She says she's a good person, though, and she just wants peace and quiet. That's her quote.
They didn't say how old this lady was?
No.
Well, it can't be too. I don't imagine like an 80-year-old's giving massages.
No.
Not those kind, anyway.
Yeah, no, it doesn't say anything about her age. I would assume,
like 40?
40s.
Okay.
She's a homeowner, vegan, who hates kids. She can't have any of her own, maybe.
Maybe.
She clearly hates children.
Well, or basketball. We don't know. She could just hate this.
So are you saying she's racist and a vegan?
Racist.
Basketball?
You went to you went racist.
Yeah, fair enough. Maybe that's too. That's
Larry Bird. Come on.
Yeah, fair enough.
Okay.
All right.
Look at that. Were you impressed I knew that name? And that he was white, and that would go with your, like, I didn't say, like, look at Michael Jordan. You're like, yeah, you're just supporting my racism.
No, but it's neat that you didn't go with Steve Nash, the Canadian famous basketball player.
Oh, yeah, I just know, like, Larry Bird. Okay. I collected basketball cards when I was, like, in the 90s.
All right, you're a weirdo.
And baseball cards.
All right.
That's how I had my first kiss. I was trading baseball cards with, I won't say, and because I could have said the first and last name, and then I was like, oh no, maybe don't do that, Katie.
All right, well, whatever.
And then I had my first kiss.
This poor guy's like, she didn't want to say my name. I was a bad kisser. All right. Well, speaking of kissing, here's well, that's not how it really has anything to do with kissing. We were talking about gender earlier, and so the next two stories here kind of deal with gender a little bit. Debating on which one to do first here.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe that boy's now a woman.
Yeah, okay, so we'll do this one first. So the inventor, this one's a little old. This one was supposed to make one of the other podcasts, but it got bumped. The inventor of gender reveal parties says it was a mistake. The California mother, widely credited with being the inventor of gender reveal parties, admits it was a mistake and now asks, so hang on, I'm going to stop it right there. So right before this, I don't know if you heard about it. There was a gender reveal. I think it was in Alabama or Albuquerque or one of those like southern states.
Okay.
And they went to do this explosion, and they went to blow up this car, and then like a bunch of people got fucked up and hurt. Oh. And then like there's a few other ones that I've heard over the times where like they go to do these extreme things for the baby reveal, and then people are getting injured. So when I first saw this, I'm like, oh yeah, because people are doing stupid things, and I bet you someone did something so stupid. Now she's like, oh, this is horrible. Like, why are they doing this? I wish I didn't invent that. So that's where I thought originally when I saw this article it was going. But no, it's not where it was going.
Did you just say that someone blew up a car at a gender reveal party?
Yeah. So then
I want to go to that gender reveal party.
Yeah, me too.
Normally it's like a balloon being popped or like the cake being cut and it's a different color inside. What the fuck do you need to blow a car up for? Like, does
this is why people shouldn't have like guns and shit, baby.
Yeah, but I mean, like blowing the car. What would be the indication of what the actual sex of the baby is?
Oh no! So when the car blew up,
Yeah.
There was like blue powder went shit everywhere.
Oh,
So like the
okay.
color went everywhere, right?
Okay.
But like so did shrapnel.
Okay, so I just thought it was like, they're hanging out and the gender reveal party's going up and they're like, hey, Billy, want to go blow that car up? And like they just go blow the car up. Like, woo, we're at a gender reveal party. Let's blow that car up.
No. I
Okay.
don't think that was not the case.
Okay,
it was a
it was-
planned thing.
Oh, okay, I gotcha.
Yeah.
Like, okay. Either way, I still want to go to the gender reveal party that blows a car up.
Yeah, no, me too. I'm totally down on this.
Maybe
So-
like I'll be in the house though, looking out a window.
Yeah. So anyway, she admits it was a mistake
Mm-hmm.
creating these things, and so I'm like, yeah, people shouldn't blow up their cars to find out
Right.
what their baby is, But then she goes, "Who cares what gender the baby is?"
Mm-hmm.
So she's she's gone
Mhm.
down that road, right? More than 10 years ago, blogger Jenna K
Yeah.
kicked off the popular trend in 2008 when she sliced into a cake to reveal pink frosting to signify. Why am I having trouble with that word?
Signify?
Yep. Her baby was going to be born a girl. She'd written about her idea online and soon interviewed about it online on an online pregnancy and parenting magazine, The Bump. Anyway, the idea spread from there.
Mm-hmm.
Since then, there have been numerous variations of the gender reveal party, including fireworks displays, shooting at explosives, popping confetti-filled balloons, and even using special colored smoke in car tires to dangerous effect. See? Yeah. See, people are getting fucked up doing stupid shit. But now, a decade plus after she started the gender reveal craze, she said that she had a new announcement of her own. She thinks she made a huge mistake, Katie. Doesn't say Katie in the article.
That'd be cool if it did.
Yeah. Who cares what the gender's baby is? Wait, what the
Baby's gender is.
Yeah. Shouldn't smoke pot while we do these things. She wrote in the Facebook post, she said when she came up with the idea, it was a different era. So, we're different now.
So it just should be yellow frosting.
That
Or
might
a
be-
rainbow. Every cake will be a rainbow cake.
Every cake will be a rainbow
Every
cake.
gender reveal party will be a rainbow cake.
Maybe that's the plan. They're taking over.
Sounds like a takeover by unicorns.
Yeah. I did it at the time because we didn't live in 2019. And we didn't know what we know now.
But what? Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
That's what she wrote. Assigning focus on gender at birth leaves us so much of their potential and talents that have nothing to do with what's between their legs. She also added that she's felt a lot of mixed feelings about my random contribution to the culture, and that the trend and how the trend needlessly helped put more emphasis on gender that has ever been necessary for a baby. For a baby. She's glad to hear that her idea has given so many people joy, but she's moving on. She wrote, plot twist.
She wrote that?
Yeah. This is quote. The world's first gender reveal party. The world's first gender reveal party baby is a girl who wears suits. Her now 10-year-old child Bianca, who has amassed thousands of followers on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
Great. That's a great mother.
Mm-hmm.
You have a 10-year-old child who's on Instagram, and you have all that. You're a good mother. Is no longer conforming to one gender and regularly wears clothing traditionally worn by boys. She's fucking 10.
Mm-hmm.
So here's a little secret about me that not a lot of people know.
Well,
When I was a child, around 10, maybe I'd say between 8 and 10, I can't really pick the fucking age.
mm-hmm.
I was very confused with gender. I would wear dresses, like no one would know, or I'd pretend to be a girl or whatever, right?
Mhm.
Just to myself. I had no idea. I was fixated with women's, because women were different than guys,
Mhm,
right? So I didn't understand, like the whole you using a tampon thing, I didn't understand. There was a whole process. I was like, why are they wearing this thing? Does that make,
Mhm.
and so like there's elements that really confused me as a child to the point where I was experimenting.
Mm-hmm.
But I am not that, like,
Yeah.
I grew out of it, right? Like it was
Mhm.
a phase where I was like, oh, that's a thing. And like I look back now, I think it's silly. It's a little
Mhm.
embarrassing. But I think it's important now, especially where you have people that are giving children like gender assignment surgeries or hormone treatments, and they're changing these because, oh, he liked G.I. Joe, or she liked G.I. Joe, so let's grow her a dick. You know, like, no. Like, that's, no. Yes, I'm all for don't force anything upon your child, but your child born a girl. Raise her a girl. If she likes certain things or trends to certain things, or you like certain things that you want her to like, then fucking relate on those things. Do that. But don't fucking, she's wearing suits, so she's gonna be a boy. Let's pump her up for, like, that's not what this lady's did. She, like, apparently letting her kid do whatever, right?
Yeah.
But, like, you hear all these fucking stories about these people that are like, yeah, let's fucking, and they fucking mutilate their children.
Yeah, well, and so looking at that, I mean, you're saying, like, this woman isn't doing that, but she kind of is, in the sense that her daughter, who enjoys being a son sometimes, is now on Instagram with X number of followers. So at any point, if this child decides, oh, I'm just going through a phase, turns out I just wanted to wear boys' clothes, now the pressure is on her to remain the same and not go back to what she was before, because then she was lying.
Oh, absolutely.
So maybe this mom isn't, like, directly creating that, but it is creating that.
Yeah, she's 10 years old. In, like, 10 years, she may love sucking dicks and suck all the dicks. Maybe not. Maybe she wants to, you know, like, it doesn't. Maybe she'll do it all. But to put these people are putting the pressure on her to not be. Don't choose. Oh, no, there's no choice. Yeah. Just fucking. I'm okay with people doing whatever the fuck they want, as long as, you know, it's not harmful physically or whatever to other people. But, like, to say there's no difference, like, it is an absurd. It is absurd. Scientifically, you can't just go, I have a penis, you have a vagina. There's a difference.
Well, and I was going to say too, like, earlier I was going to ask what provoked this blogger or whatever to write this. Like, did someone attack her saying, you know, you shouldn't have done this 10 years ago? But it turns out that her
there's definitely a reason.
Daughter, yeah. But it's still, like, I think people don't understand that they don't have to necessarily erase everything they've done in their life. Like, why not have another gender reveal party where her daughter gets to cut the cake and it's like, do you know what I mean? You don't always have to.
But, like, why would you even do that? Because then you're gendering it's a fucking child.
I know, yeah, but, like, all of that aside, I'm just saying, why do we have to keep going back and feeling bad about things? Why can't we just move forward and make those things better? Like, we're constantly apologizing. We're constantly going back saying, oh, I disagree with that now. Yes, it's okay to disagree with it, but why take it back and say it should have never been invented?
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely.
Like,
I totally, yeah.
Not the whole harmful way of people blowing up cars, but the way this woman is going.
Yeah.
I think if I was her and I felt the need to express something about this, why not say something more positive? But
it's also forcing, like, you're trying to force your ideals on other people. Because, like, what if I want a little boy or a little girl? Am I not allowed to raise my child as... No, I have... Are you telling me that I have to raise my child as, like, a unidentified thing?
Right.
And I don't mean to use the word thing disparagingly. Like, I generally want the well-being for all these people. Like, I'm not saying these things to be hurtful, but there's got to be a fucking line that you draw that it's like, it's fucking child abuse, right? Like, let kids be whatever they want to be and do whatever they want to do. Like, to say that gendering a child is, you're bringing sexuality into children's lives. Yeah. That doesn't need to be there. Yes. Like, let them be. It doesn't matter. I didn't start asking, like, maybe I started asking questions a little earlier because of my parents, and my parents were open around the house and nothing was overly taboo. But even then, you know, once you, like, your kid's what? He's, like, in his 10s. He started, what, a year or two ago, maybe asking little questions here or there. Yeah. Around that pocket, you start getting curious. And between then and 16, you're kind of identifying where you fit. And then from 16 to 20, you're seeing if that's the right fit, and you try a couple other hats on. Nothing, it's all fluid. Yes. So, you shouldn't force anything upon your child. But you shouldn't also deny genetics. You shouldn't also deny science and gender. Because there are specific differences from being women and being men. Well, and you don't want to raise a 10-year-old child who identifies as a boy but is a girl, or was born a girl, and she grows up thinking that she can, play in the NHL or fight men, and because that's not going to happen until like there's genetically altered humans, because it's just there's a reason why they're separates.
Yes.
Right. And it's not it's not like one's better than the other. It's just our genetic makeup is different.
Well, and at the same time, if a child's going to be born and they have, male genitalia or female genitalia, and you don't assign something to them, then there's a whole, loss of identity. You're identifying them as nothing, as unidentifiable until, so just.
Yeah, it's like we're creating a generation of chameleons.
But if they're born a girl and you're raising them a girl because that's the genitalia that they have, and then at age whatever they decide they don't want to, you just be fluid with it, like you said. You don't have to.
I figured it out. So you know how like when people talk about like getting abducted by aliens.
Yes.
And you see the stereotypical gray alien, like undeformed, unsexual. Like it's just a thing, right? But it's like 2 arms, 2 legs, a head, no bits or pieces. Like it's just like in Stargate, there were clones or whatever, right? That's what we're gonna be, the fucking gray aliens at some point.
Yeah.
Undescript, all the same, no originality, just gray, shapeless beings.
Well, and I think too, like as
with big fucking eyes.
Yeah. Well, okay. So a good example is I work with a lady at work, and her daughter, so was born a girl, is 10, and some days like wants to be called Devin, and some days wants to be called Emma, and some days wears boyish clothes, and some days wears girlish clothes. But she's not like, the lady I work with isn't demanding that her daughter pick a sex so she can identify with it and like accept it and move forward. And neither is her daughter. You know what I mean? Her daughter's not saying, "Oh, I want to be a boy," or "Oh, I want to be a girl." It's just like she's just going through the phase with her.
In fairness, just out of curiosity, maybe it's not a topic that came up with in your conversation with her, but like, she's a supportive mother, which is awesome. Does she not think it's weird?
Yes, and she's admit that she finds it hard. So she's reached out to like a support call line to ask like, what do I do? Because and she's even said like, I feel bad as a mom because I really think it's a phase that she's going through, and I don't want to discourage her and I don't want to encourage her. So she's taking both stances.
Yeah.
That
I think it's
and so anyway, the help line just said, like just follow her lead, you know what I mean? And eliminate things that you might think might be influencing her. Now, if you go further, there are certain things that you see at certain ages, and her daughter didn't exhibit these things, that sort of thing. So I just think that's the whole point, is just to be accepting. But I think parents who can't accept it or be supportive in any way need to identify it for themselves. They need to be like, okay, like I think they're being selfish in that sense.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Because I know for me with my son,
kind of signaling.
Yeah, like
I'm a good mother. I'm a good person. My child is non-binary.
Right.
They have an X on their birth certificate.
Yeah. Or if their daughter all of a sudden starts dressing like a boy, it's like, oh, I have a son now, and I have accepted this son, and I'm not kicking him out of the house because he's changing she's changing her identity. But that's
reassuring for them.
Right. Yeah.
I actually think there's a lot of that. And it's fucked up to say, but like I can think about, the amount of people I've met in my life and the amount of people where this is a situation, and I can count them on one hand. And I'm not saying that their plight isn't nothing.
Right.
But we're making such a big deal out of it that it might skew other aspects of, social life and social, evolution for a child or for people.
Yes.
It's a very tricky topic. I'm glad it's a topic I couldn't talk about by myself on the podcast, because I feel like I'd go off and sound like a misogynist asshole. 'Cause I'm generally supportive of most people.
Yes.
But in the same regard, I think it's the same. It's my same belief that I don't think children should be forced on religion should be forced on children.
Right.
I think it's a form of child abuse, telling your child that if they fuck up, they're going to burn in hell.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's horrible.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I don't know where you're going with that.
I don't know where I was going with that either. But it's just like it's forcing, unnecessary pressure on children.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Like just let's live happy and
well, and I think too with the lady that I'm working that I work with, she went about it the right way too. It wasn't like she's like, I'm having a hard time figuring this out. I'm gonna talk to someone else. I'm not gonna like go to my daughter and say, are you a boy or are you a girl? Like, what are you doing? Like, what's happening? What's going on? She like stepped away from the situation and realized the issue was with her. Now, if she's feeling that confused, she also can realize how confused her daughter is probably also feeling, right?
Yeah.
So at some point, we just have to take the responsibility on what we should be doing. So I guess this works with anything. I mean, instead of attacking things or trying to put labels on things or be part of, tribes, as you say, and whatnot, the responsibility is on us to seek the information somewhere else or to be comfortable with it somewhere else, not force everyone else to be comfortable with it.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't have said that any better myself.
There you go. There's my 2 cents for the day.
All right. Well,
it's not gonna get better than that.
Before we move off the gender topic, because we're still on the gender topic on this next article, this was just a fun one that made me kind of laugh because there's this big misconception out there is that women make 70 cents on the dollar that men do, and where they don't factor in a lot of the factors, right? Like women go get, and I'm not saying that. In my experience, working in my industry, I make what you're making based on your ability, not based on your gender or whatever, right? All the servers, and granted, a lot of places I've worked, most of the servers have been female persuasion. They all make the exact same. And though if there was men servers, they're making the exact same. So like, I don't know the corporate world overly, but based on what I've been told and what I've read in various articles and various experts, which I wish I could cite right now. I can't. I'm sorry, guys, but if you do the research, you will be able to find this out, is that the number that they take is if you look at earnings over a certain period of time, men generally will earn more.
Yes.
But because men generally work more and men generally do more dangerous jobs.
Yes.
And so it's not a put down on women, but it's even, they look at professional women who go into like legal fields and they'll work as a lawyer until they're 40 and then they'll stop being a lawyer and do something else where men generally wouldn't do that.
Yes.
So when people say, though, there's no difference between men and women, the differences between men and women is why there's that perceived discrepancy in wage gap. Okay. Anyway, and you can argue it. I'm not like, that's not my point of all this. It's just that I take that information in and then I come across this article and then it makes me laugh. In the new game of Miss Monopoly, women make more than men.
What? Miss Monopoly?
Yeah. So, tired, Mr. Monopoly, wired, Miss Monopoly. One of America's most recognizable board games is getting an upgrade. Hasbro is debuting a new game celebrating women's empowerment, Miss Monopoly, marking the first time in Monopoly history when a new mascot will feature the cover of the game. The twist? In Miss Monopoly, female players will get more money.
I know. I'm just shaking my head. Like, I know you can't see me, but you can. Everyone
Unlike
can.
the classic game, women will collect 240 Monopoly bucks when they pass go, while male players will only collect the usual 200.
No.
The idea is to create a game where women make more than men. The first game to do so, according to Hasbro.
That's not creating a game where women make more than men. That's creating a game where men can turn to women and say, "Ha, you couldn't even win with your little upgrade or whatever." Like, I'm just saying, it's.
So, are you saying men are going to win this game?
Well, maybe.
With the advantage women are given?
But that's what I'm saying. We don't need an advantage. Why are you giving us an advantage? I don't understand that.
Neither do I.
That's saying I can't think of it right now, but that's saying that we're less in some way, so we need an advantage.
Yeah.
That's the wrong message.
Yeah.
To be given.
Yeah. Absolutely.
No, it's when and you're talking about wage equality. Like that's what we're talking about is equality. So why wouldn't in that game? Okay. Sorry.
No, it's okay. It's good. It's just you're getting to this next part here. So they say it's a fun new take on the game that creates a world where women have an advantage often enjoyed by men. That's what they said in their statement. But don't worry, if men play their cards right, they can make more money too.
I don't like this.
That's not the only difference, though. Instead of buying property, players will invest in inventions created by women, things like Wi-Fi and the chocolate chip cookies. Really? Really? Wi-Fi and chocolate chip, you couldn't do better than Wi-Fi? So yes, Wi-Fi, awesome. Satellite radio, another female invention. But chocolate chip cookies?
This puts us back in the kitchen.
Yeah. But no worries. Mainstays such as jail, luxury taxes, and chance cards are still included.
Yeah, but like if I go to jail, do I get to blow the guard now to get out? Like, do I get to use my sexual advantage too? Like, Jesus, if you're gonna give me $40 more, like give me all the I want to use my boobs to get out of jail.
So this might actually be like a bit of virtue signaling on behalf of Hasbro, because the announcement of Miss Monopoly comes a few weeks after the company received criticism for Monopoly Socialism, a tongue-in-cheek game that sparked debate for its flippant handling of socialism. What the fuck? Okay. Hasbro also debuted Monopoly for Millennials in 2018, poking fun at stereotypical millennial trends such as avocado toast and veganism. Miss Monopoly will be available for pre-order beginning September 10th. So I think Monopoly Socialism is a very hilarious idea. Mm-hmm. Like, no one will win. Mm-hmm. Like, it's just be a game that goes on forever, right? You always have the same amount of money. You always have the same amount of property. Like, I think that'd be a really funny game to play with someone, but don't tell them it's Monopoly Socialism. And then see what happens. Like, that's funny. I get the humor in that. But yeah, I think Miss Monopoly is more insulting to women than it is offensive to men.
I was insulted.
Even though I was slightly offended, where I'm like, you call for equality, yet then you do shit like this. Like, I'm all for equality. I'm all for everyone starting at the same fucking level, and based on merit, you get what you do, right? But then suggesting that, no, right off from the get-go, they should just make more than you. Because, here's the reality in life, right? If you and I were to go on social assistance, you were going to make more money than me. Mm-hmm. Partly because you're a woman. Mm-hmm. Another part is because you have a child. Mm-hmm. Partly because you're a woman.
Mm-hmm. Well, mostly because I'm a woman, like entirely because I am a woman.
So in that regard, you're better. Mm-hmm. There's more tax breaks for you at the end of the year. Mm-hmm. So you pay less. Mm-hmm. So I end up paying more. Mm-hmm. So to say, like, you know what I mean? Like, anyway.
I do.
So for the need for something like this, it is just signaling at ridiculous people. Mm-hmm. Anyone that buys this game is not helping our gene pool.
No. And two, earlier when you were talking about how they take, like for males and females, they take their pays. Well, now does it even matter because we can't identify as anything? So everybody just it doesn't matter. We're all like.
No, I'm still identifying as a dude.
Okay. Anyway, you said you take their pays and over a period of time divide it over that many months or whatever to get the monthly income. The other thing too is that women tend to take the maternity leave and they're not getting the same amount of, like, they're not getting as much.
Yeah. But I'm down with like Andrew Yang's idea of like the UBC. I'm paying mother, like.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm not saying that everything's perfect.
No, but what I'm saying.
Oh, you're adding to the discrepancy.
Yeah, like that woman can't say, no, I want to take the whole year off. My husband or boyfriend or whatever is going to work. But I want equal pay. Well, you're not going to get equal pay at the end. Anyway.
Men now in Canada can take maternity leave.
Yes, that I
but that's relatively new.
But as a woman, like, come on, if I just had a baby, I'm not going back to work in 6 months. Like, fuck that.
No.
I'm just saying that it's very rare.
You know what? You say that, but then I work with people that by 6 months, they were happy to get back to work. Yeah. Right? They're like, oh, fuck. Granted, it's second child, so it could be dependent on your situation, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, Anyway, Miss Monopoly.
I
That's not a version of Monopoly I'm going to buy. Though, if I do find Monopoly Socialism, I might purchase that game because that's fucking hilarious.
but I mean, at the same, yeah.
No,
Anyway, I won't get it.
No, go for it.
Just like with that game, with the woman starting out with $240 more. So, I just don't understand what that message is that Monopoly wanted, or Miss Monopoly wanted to get across. Like, what need is that helping? We're talking, the big talk is equal pay. The big talk's not talking about women making more than men.
No. So the idea is, or the concept, the way I take it is, let women walk in men's shoes.
Oh, I see.
You know what I mean?
Worse. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's totally worse because you look at the original Monopoly game. I guess all the little the pieces are all men inventions and all the property. You know what I mean? So in this one, they're trying to make it all feminized. Feminized.
We just have to leave things alone.
Yeah. Yeah, we
just
Speaking
leave the normal Monopoly.
This is a great fucking segue. I'm not going to read this whole article because it's just ridiculous, and we're getting a little long on time. And there's a couple more articles that I do want to get to.
Okay.
But this one it was really funny. We don't need to go into all the details. Just the headline alone is enough that it's all we're going to need. All right. So on CNN, I came across this man who rapped about killing his girlfriend charged with murder.
Is the girlfriend still alive?
No, he killed her.
Oh, he really did kill her.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He killed her.
And then he rapped about it after.
Yeah. And burying her body.
What?
Yeah.
So he rapped his confession is what you're saying?
Yeah, she went missing late July. Then he drops this new dope track about murdering his girlfriend and burying her body. And the cops are like, huh. You know what? Your girlfriend's been missing since July.
Oh my God, did you put the GPS coordinates and you wrap those in there?
I think there's something there. Fucking, what's a fucking...
Well, at least they caught on quickly.
Yeah, but not quickly enough because this was beginning of September. So she was missing in July.
Well,
it's I would have, was he not questioned? He's like, man, I got away with this motherfucker. I'm going to write this dope lyric and it's going to fucking put me up. And then they're like, no, you can't act. So, when you hear a lot of people rap about murdering people, they didn't really murder those people. Yeah. Most of the time, it's not a real crime's being committed. You would go to jail. No, this guy, he's fucking dropped his sick beats.
Okay.
Yeah. So I thought that was great. I was like, oh man. He's a white rapper too.
Oh.
He's like, I'm gonna be like Eminem. Eminem didn't actually kill his girlfriend, right? People know this. Jesus, Murphy. Okay. There's 3 more here. I'm trying to debate which one to do next. Oh no, we're freezing. Mama, no. Okay, well, I think I know this one up pretty well. So this couple, they built a self-sustaining home for $1,000. And now a decade later, they're on the hook for $5,000, and the city's trying to sue them because you can't live off the grid.
Why?
Because that's just because. The government's like, you can't do this. So basically what happened is they built this sustainable farm and home, and it's grown over the years. And so when they first went in, they're an older couple, and the guy at the permit office was like, yeah, everything's fine. And then 5-6 years later down the road, the permit office, new people in charge, I guess, come out and they're like, no, this is not fine. You owe us all this money. And they're like, we don't make that kind of money. We literally live off the land. They have no waste. They have they're just completely self-sufficient. They're the type of people that if I was any kind of government official and I came across okay, well, we don't have to worry about them. And then I'd move on to another situation. Except these government people are like, you know what? We need fucking money. That's a piece of land that's not getting fucking money. This is something that drives me fucking insane. I understand property taxes to some degree if you in a city. I don't understand property taxes in rural communities. Do not understand it.
Yeah.
You're taking care of all that land.
Yes, yeah.
Right? You're taking care of everything. And in most cases, where my brother's cottage is in that rural community, you have to pay for maintenance on that road.
Yeah.
So I have no problems for like you live in the city. You know, there's a lot of maintenance that
Yes.
goes on
Yeah.
into living in the city. So I understand the property taxes, but then to tell me that I can't do something on my fucking property, like
Mhm.
there's certain things that I'm like, okay, you got to draw a fucking line. Like I got to pay
Yeah.
you all this money so I can build this thing in my backyard.
Yeah.
You know, go fuck yourself. Like
Right.
I'll give you this. I'll give you this. You come and check and make sure it's safe.
Yeah.
And even if it's not like fuck your code, because like these like
Mhm.
these people built something that's different.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's all mud. It's basically mud and straw. It's
Yeah.
their whole home, right? And they've been living there for years.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been over 10 years now they've been living in this place. And there's no problems. They're fine. They're not, especially being in a rural community, just let them be.
Yeah.
Now, I understand if you're in places that are like really tight, you know, you maybe can't build certain things super high
Right.
or whatever.
Yeah.
But if I want to build an extra shed in my backyard or a 1-room cabin,
Yeah.
I shouldn't have to go out and get a fucking permit.
No.
I shouldn't have to pay money
No.
to build more on my property. It's
Yeah.
my fucking property. I bought it.
Mm-hmm.
I should only have to pay for the materials and the labor to increase, you know, whatever I want to
Yes.
fucking do here.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, I'm going to put in a pool. I got to go pay $5,000 to get the fucking people to come in and say I can build the fucking pool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Come in and take a look, see if there's gas lines.
Yes.
That I agree with.
Yes.
But to come in just to, oh yeah, like, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I felt bad for this couple. And I know you're like a hippy dippy person
Mm-hmm.
and you would like to live in a place like this, but apparently you can't. There's
That's
like there was another woman in Nova Scotia. I think she spent like $20,000 building up this place that was supposed to be completely self-sufficient off the grid, and then the government was like, "No, you have to be connected to the electrical grid." And the cost to bring in the power lines from wherever they were,
Yeah.
would have cost her more than what the place was, so she abandoned it.
Jeez.
It's fucking insane,
It's like,
insane.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
yet our governments talk about trying to save the environment.
Yeah, I mean, if you're self-sufficient, I mean, just leave them alone. Like, they're self-sufficient. You don't need to go in and make them like they're doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
If I was the government, I'd be like, okay, they're taken care of. Let's
Yeah.
go on to other people.
Yeah.
All right. So this next one will make it another one really quick, and then we'll get into the last one because it might be heavy.
Okay.
But though this one's kind of heavy too. If you're sensitive, earmuffs or like or trigger word or whatever you fucking
Safe
say.
space, get your blankie.
Yeah. So remember we talked about in the first one of these the guy who found the baby
Yeah, in the freezer.
in the freezer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I think another family trumps him.
Okay.
Over 2,000 preserved fetal remains found on property of deceased Indiana doctor.
Yep. He wins.
He wins.
Ah, fetal remains.
Yeah. So
2,000.
yeah. So the family doctor who operated a clinic in Indiana, the family of a doctor who operated a clinic in Indiana sifted through his personal belongings after his death and found 2,246 medically preserved fetal remains.
What do they mean? Sifted through his stuff. Like,
Like, okay, maybe that was a bad choice of words, but the man died, so they started going through his stuff.
but like digging up his backyard?
No, like his home, his house.
He just had them like in shoe boxes?
So Dr. Ulrich died on September 3rd. He ran a women's health facility in South Bend that included abortion clinics.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was gonna say I think this guy might have been an abortionist.
Before his license was suspended in 2015. So he was abortion doctor until 2015. The remains were found Thursday at his home in Will County, Illinois, about 45 miles from Chicago. An attorney representing the family called Will County Coroner's office to inform them that the family had discovered what appeared to be the remains of fetuses and asked for assistance in the property removing them. I'd need some assistance removing 2,246 fetuses myself.
Maybe a little bit of therapy after.
A little bit. When detectives arrived at the address, they found the preserved fetal remains. The coroner's office took them, and the family is cooperating fully with the investigation. Yeah, no shit. No evidence that any medical procedures were conducted at the doctor's property according to the statement. That's it. That's all they're giving you.
Like, did they just open a closet and they all like tumbled out, like, you know, an overstuffed closet? Or
I know. I saw this and I was
don't
like,
understand.
I'm going through all
Couldn't you just have flushed them down the toilet?
No, I think that defeats the purpose, right? Because like the clinic would have ways of disposing with the fetuses, right?
I know, but like
So-
if he was doing them in a shed or something.
No, but so I don't think he was. I think there's another side to this. So think about the woman who preserved her baby in her freezer,
Mhm.
right? She did that out of like loss and love and,
Mhm.
you know, not like, I'm sure maybe some religious
Mhm.
reasons, right? So what if this doctor was a religious man of some character
Mhm.
and he couldn't, like, he was performing his oath as a doctor
Mhm.
and performing these abortions, but then couldn't, like, he lived a tortured life, and every abortion he did, he kept as a reminder that he's a fucking monster to repent. Or he's just a monster, and they're like little mementos from every vagina that he committed murder in.
I don't even want to. Did you just say committed murder in a vagina?
Yeah.
I don't want to know why.
You don't? That's all I want to know.
Well, I mean, I do, but I don't.
All I want to know is why.
Or how? How are they preserved? Did you like
I'm assuming in, like, you know, like you've seen those.
like how you buy the meat in the grocery section? It's all
when
vacuum
you see
sealed.
those, you know, in science class in high school,
Yeah,
and you
I
had the
know.
pigs in the jars.
Yes.
I'd imagine like that,
Oh,
or vacuum sealed bags.
maybe he's making a new kind of tequila. Like, you know, you get the drink with the toe in it or the worm.
The worm. The toe is like that's in the Yukon.
Yeah.
You do a shot of whiskey and you got to let the toe touch your lips.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe
Sorry, I'm getting coffee. We're gonna have to wrap this up.
double, please.
Yeah. So did you hear about? Okay, so this is actually a big story, and I know we don't really do big stories, but when I first wrote this down, it wasn't a big story. It seemed like it was going to be a nothing story, and I hoped it was going to be a nothing story, and then of course it became a big fucking story.
Mm-hmm.
But did you hear about Shane Gillis? Do you know this name?
No.
Saturday Night Live hired this comedian, Shane Gillis.
Mm-hmm.
And then it came out he made a bunch of Asian racist jokes. And then he got fired. He's no longer going to work for Saturday Night Live.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the whole thing that happened. So when I got this article, and like jokes, some of them were kind of funny.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them weren't funny. I'm not going to read the whole article because everyone knows the story pretty much at this point, right? Like, yeah, he made racist tweets. He made some racist comments, but they were all in the guise of like a joke, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they're all the ones that they're talking about are based on Asian folks.
Okay.
Andrew Yang, the guy who's running for Democratic candidacy for the presidency of the United States, Asian descent. The man made some jokes about Andrew Yang.
Okay.
So Andrew Yang, excuse me. So Andrew Yang went out and was like, you know, some of your jokes are fucked up. Some of them are mildly funny.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think this guy should lose his job on Saturday Night Live.
Okay.
And he's like, hey, let's get together, let's talk, and let's see, you know, maybe you're racist and maybe you don't know, or maybe, you know, let's just put a good face on this.
Yeah.
Right? And so that was before he got fired, right? This was like right in the aftermath of what happened.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's like, hey, look, we should have a conversation, a dialogue, and realize, you know, people are different. People find things funny that are different. And, you know, if we all want to be on the same page, we all need to have conversations and not demonize people. He took it the way you need to take it.
The positive way.
Just such the right way.
Not the way the barbecue vegan did.
No. But no one else took it that way.
Oh, okay.
No one else. I mean, comics are defending the guy, obviously. Yeah. But no one else is like Saturday Night Live is like, hey, you do not have this job here. And there's like, you know what's really funny? I think it was like the New York Times or some very liberal publication in the United States. They have an Asian writer who had some really racist white people stuff, and people commented on it, and she sells a job. And I'm not doing the reverse white racism card. It's just like, if we're trying to be equals, like if everyone's playing equality, Like, let's let jokes slide, right? Because that's what she said. She said she made jokes. This guy's made some jokes. He is a known comedian, right? And you have a prominent Asian businessman, a man running for president, that had come out and he's made talks, like he's had talks about, you know, it being difficult being Asian growing up because people, but he also makes fun of it. He's like, I'm an Asian who likes math. That's the best thing to run against. You know, he pokes fun at the stereotype. You can do that, like in the right way if it's not coming from hate. And things like I've talked about this in the first podcast, things can be misconstrued as hate, and you not understand that the person was making a joke. But instead, everyone pulled out their fucking pitchforks, and this guy's career was done before it even got started.
Yeah,
it's crazy. Thoughts? Or are you just afraid? Are you just afraid about being a white person talking on the radio about race?
No, I think we all just need to loosen up a little bit.
Yeah.
We need to be a little bit more elastic and not so rigid.
Yeah.
Let some things fall into us and bounce off and not absorb everything. Like we just don't want any of it. Nothing. We don't want genders anymore. We don't want racism anymore. Well, we don't want racism, but you know.
Yeah.
Like
You need to be able to make fun of people.
Yeah. I just think that people are making it really hard to have a laugh.
Yeah, like we can't take ourselves so seriously. Like, I know this is fucked up, and I don't think I've got into it yet on this iteration of the podcast, but I know you did on the old one. And it's fucked up, one, because I'm a white person saying it. Two, it's fucked up because oppressed people shouldn't have to be the people that make the steps to change everything, right?
Yes.
But I think you need that transgendered person to come out and be like, yeah, this is kind of fucked up. I'm happy with who I am. Yeah. But, you know, I'm a dude with a dick and I'm wearing a dress and a wig. Yeah. And that's cool. Like, it's cool. You can look at me weird. It's fine. It's great. It's gravy. Like, we don't, like, you're not going to affect me. Yes. I'm still going to be empowered and be who I am. And because I have people that love me around you, and other people will be supportive of me. And it's the same thing with the Asian person, like Andrew Yang's like, yeah, you know, I'm an Asian person. I like math. Of course you do. You know?
It's just like our expectations of people to change or adapt to change or to quickly make up their mind about something is, we want it instantly.
Yeah, no.
And I know for me as a human, I don't function like that. I like to investigate things. I like to ask questions. I like to hear different sides, different stories. And then the one that I kind of fit the most with is kind of the one I go with, but I'm not totally against the other one either.
Yeah.
Like, I can respect their points and their opinions or their beliefs or their values or whatever. Doesn't necessarily mean I agree with it, but I can respect it.
Yeah, I would also argue that joking about these things, like those things, like race and gender, and if you look back, those are a lot of, like, those jokes and things that happen in public forums and, like, by comedians are in often cases the things that progress society forward, right? Like, you look at some of the first stand-up comics, fucking racist as shit.
Yes.
And things progressed. Like, you need to be able to laugh and feel comfortable together before you can take those next steps, I think, like, to a certain degree, right?
And I mean, like, I'm not a racist by no means. I've said a racist joke. I've made a racist comment around people that I'm comfortable with, but I'm not a racist at heart. You know what I mean? I'm not going to. You
say something for a laugh. You're like, I'm going to say this fucked up thing because it's going. In this moment, it's not necessarily required. That's a bad choice of word, but it's just the right thing that's going to break this tension or it's just a goof.
And I really hope that the other races are doing the same thing about my race.
Yeah.
Like, I think we just all have to admit that we're not all fucking perfect.
Exactly. And we're all just humans, right?
Yes.
Like, and the fact that we're different is why we should laugh at each other and, like, laugh at ourselves. But I think that's the more important thing, is, like, not so much, we have no problem laughing at each other, and that might be part of the problem. It's not so much about laughing at each other. It's about laughing at ourselves.
Right.
It's like we need to be able to not take ourselves so seriously. And, like, you know, not accept, that's a bad choice of words, but, like, be like water on a duck's bill, you know, just fucking roll off. Be like Teflon. Just don't let everything fucking stick to you, man. Just be tougher than
Or
that.
not ruin people's lives over it or careers or
Yeah,
things
yeah.
like that. Sit down and have a conversation. Like, instead of turning it into a negative thing, as I said earlier, turn it into
This
a
could have been a
positive experience.
learning moment.
This could have been a fantastic learning moment, but society's just not ready for it.
No.
That's
No.
my big old sociology view.
All right. And I think, you know what? And on that note, society's not ready for it. They're not ready for any more of this podcast for this week. I think we're going to wrap it up.
Okay, sounds good.
So
those were good. I like the flow of that. Those were good articles.
yeah.
That's what I have to say about this.
So I'm
And
not.
hopefully I talked into the mic. Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's okay. I'm not going to do like I didn't do an intro in this initial recording, so I'll do like a pre-recorded intro later or pre-record. How do you pre-record something? I'm going to record it before I record it. It's like preheat an oven. How can you preheat an oven? Oven is only two. It's a George Carlin joke. It's like an oven only has two states. It's on, or it's heated, or it's not heated.
Yeah.
You know, preheated is a
Yeah.
Anyway. So I'm not going to do an outro video message, so there won't be like a tune and then I talk for a little bit. If anyone's made it to that point, maybe you just hear the little tune and then you just turn it off because my other podcast there's a little tune and then there's nothing else. So I'll just do the outro here. I'm still debating on doing these intro and outro things. I'm a mess, folks. It's only the 6th episode. When we get to like number 50, we'll start to hone something in. I hope. If not, we'll try it. Fucking episode 100. So what do I want to say? If you enjoyed this, go to Twitter at Foolish Canuck. You can follow the podcast there. You can follow the podcast on Facebook, Foolish Canuck. The website, www.foolishcanuck.com. You can find out what I got going on. I got some shows coming up in October. You can also find out stuff about the fucking Foolish Canuck and the stuff that I'm doing. If you want to support the podcast, there's a little link on the bottom of the page. You can click on it, and there's a whole bunch of different ways you can do that. From, sharing the videos and the podcasts and the pages and talking about it and your things. And, hey, if you want to send a couple bucks, there's ways to do that as well. Any way you want to help out, that would be swell. You're lovely people. You're listening. You're at this point. It's like an hour and a half in, and you're still here. I love you. Unless you're like a really evil person, then maybe we'll have to like talk about it, but we'll figure it out. Hey, if you liked like these podcasts where we do these news stories and you come across some weird news stories and you're like, hey, I love to know what they think about, this thing, go to the fucking website, foolishcanuck.com, hit the contact page and send the news story over. Also include your thoughts. We'd love to hear what you think about it, and then we'll include it in the podcast if it's good. Chances are, if you send it to us, we'll include it into the podcast. So why don't you just go ahead and do that? Also, if you have any questions, comments, tips, concerns, whatever, just want to say hi, fire us off a message. We'd love to hear from you. We would love to know who's listening and, things we can do to make it more enjoyable. Thank you very much again. I hope you have a pleasant week. There'll be more podcasts coming soon. Stay tuned. Much love, you foolish fucks. Bye.